with all of the beautiful tax breaks we get here and low property taxes, how can you say no to that?
Yeah. Well, I've seen some of the real estate
great
out there too, Mike, and it's beautiful. You guys have some absolutely stunning homes in Vegas. Welcome to Real Estate Success Partner. We're your hosts, Devin, Dubuc,
David, Nguyen,
and we're here to talk about how to have great success in every market. Hey, and today that market is Las Vegas, Nevada, baby.
Yeah.
Vegas, my man. Who'd you bring with you today?
Man, everybody always goes to Las Vegas to visit and vacation, but this man here actually lives there and sells real estate there. It's Michael Moed.
And does it very well.
Oh, outstandingly well. So, Mike, what's up, man? Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. How you all doing?
Brother, we're doing fantastic, especially because we got you here today. So super excited to get a chance to learn more about what you've been doing in this industry. We've seen your report card, and it's nothing short of epic. So welcome to the show, my friend.
Well, I appreciate you having me on, and happy to help in any way I can and get the word out about being a realtor in Vegas and seeing, who I can help out there as well.
Well, let's talk about that journey a little bit, because I kind of know what you did previous, which is typical Las Vegas, is rounders and all that stuff. But tell the audience what you did for 10 years as a profession.
So before I got into real estate, I actually was a professional poker player from Florida. I'm from Miami, so that's where we started. And our journey, my wife and I, took us to Vegas multiple times a year. And we just finally said, in 2010, we're just going to move out there and give it our best and see what happens. And it worked out really well, and we were successful, and moved back to Florida to start a family and open up business there. And then a little bit after that, got into real estate in Florida, and then realized, you know what? It's just not for us.
Yeah.
We want to be back in the dry heat and the desert and get away from that humidity and hurricanes.
Let's go.
And brought it back out here as a full-time realtor.
That's awesome.
What year was that you moved back out to Vegas?
So I started back here full-time in 2018.
Okay.
So that's 6 years ago.
Okay.
Well, and let's talk about Vegas a little bit as a place to live, because, we all know Vegas as, Sin City, gambler's paradise. That's where you go to have all your sins, right? But we also, we've been out there quite a few times, that there is a city behind the city, right? And, talk about that a little bit. Obviously, it was enough to take you and your family, back from Florida to Nevada, right? Tell us why you chose Nevada as home.
Listen, Kevin, I don't know what you're talking about. It's only Sin City. There's only gambling here. There's nothing outside of the Strip. And I don't even know what you're talking about. I live in the garage at the MGM.
My man. Yeah. So it's nothing but nightclubs and shows and out there on the gambling floor, right?
One of the things that my wife and I fell in love with in Vegas, and at that time, because we were on the Strip 24/7. We were living right behind Bellagio. We were going to play poker on a daily basis. But once we realized that there's a heck of a lot to do in Vegas outside of the Strip. There is actually a very big cultural mix here, believe it or not. And, you don't have to go very far to experience, a normal pace of life. But one of the things that really drew us to Vegas and made us move back out here was the access to the great outdoors. You are a stone's throw away from the mountains. I know it's crazy, and everyone never believes me when I say it snows here in Vegas. They're always thinking of something else, I guess. But we are 30 minutes from Mount Charleston, and in the winter, you get snow, like a few feet of snow all throughout the winter season. You can go skiing up there and sledding, and it's a real nice change of scenery, especially when summers here, are quite hot. You can even go up there in the summer and it's in the 70s, on a daily basis. So not only that, but you're Red Rock Conservatory, great hiking. It's a national park here. You are 2 hours from Utah, just amazing national parks there. And we have two young boys, and we're we were really just drawn to the outdoors and said, hey, Florida is so flat and boring and always raining.
Yeah.
You got to drive outside the state to really see anything interesting or different. And we said, you know what? That's definitely one of the reasons we love living here. Change of scenery is really easy to get to. And if you really want to see the ocean, fine. You're, 4 hours to LA
Right.
and you can be on the beach. So,
Yeah, I've made that drive right through Death Valley. It gets a little hot midway through.
yeah, you don't want to break down. That's for sure.
No, it's definitely not the right place to be. I think when it approaches 120s in the heat of the summer, right?
For sure.
Maybe hot.
They actually run an ultra marathon road race there called Badwater, and it's like a 90-mile race on foot, something like that. And it goes right through Death Valley, and they say you can fry an egg on the street there.
I can imagine that you could. I've been there in that heat, and it was, we had tinted windows, and I just remember thinking as I'm driving through, why is my arm on fire? Right? it didn't matter, right? That heat just
definitely gets hot. It definitely gets hot. But we've lived such a nice experience. We've had such a nice experience living here in Vegas. One of the big things that people always say is, "Oh, we had no idea there was life outside the Strip."
Yeah.
And, I think that is a catalyst for people wanting to move here. I mean, Vegas has grown so much in the last, let's say, decade.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we are definitely a metropolitan city now. You have a NFL football team, you have a hockey team, getting a baseball team. Basketball, I heard, is on the horizon. And, with all of the beautiful tax breaks we get here and low property taxes, how can you say no to that?
Yeah. Well, I've seen some of the real estate
great
out there too, Mike, and it's beautiful. You guys have some absolutely stunning homes in Vegas.
Yeah. I mean, the Vegas as a whole, if you center it around the Strip, right, built in the 60s, 70s, 80s, but after that, when they started building master plan communities like Summerlin, which was built in the 80s by Howard Hughes, started. And then when Henderson started to blow up with Green Valley in the 90s, you really started to see the tract home builders come in here, and they have a wide range. I mean, you have, some of the more economically friendly builders, like Harmony Homes, and like mid-grade builders like KB, all the way up to Toll Brothers and Pulte and Tri-Point and Blue Heron Custom. I mean, you have such a wide variety, and that's really speaks to the wide variety of people who live here.
That's right. Let's talk about that real quick. So, folks that are moving out that direction don't really know, what to expect, when it comes to price point. Where do we start? Where do we end? Right? What does Vegas have to offer as far as, home values?
Yeah, so average home prices right now, I think, is around $425. We saw a pretty big increase from COVID. Then we had a nice decrease after that, which is fine. But I think in the last decade, we'll call it, since the recovery from the recession in 2008, I'd say on average, Vegas is 5 to 8% equity year over year of an increase. And that's hard to find.
It is.
I mean, that what that tells me is that Vegas is stable. And even though they were one of the hardest hit cities in the recession back in 2008, they've rebounded with a vengeance.
Yeah.
And I don't think any other city has seen growth like this. It's such a unique area because it is growing. I mean, find me another metropolitan city anywhere in the United States that's growing by the numbers that Vegas is. I don't think there is one.
Well, and I'll tell you what else you just told me is that means the average homeowner is gaining $20,000 to $32,000 a year in equity positioning. Right.
Yeah.
So average home price, $400K, 5 to 8%. You folks are out there. You're not just making money on the gambling tables with the low taxes, right? You're making money on the equity positioning in your homes because you've got so much to offer. The city's blowing up. You're adding all these new sports teams, as you said. It's just an outstanding place to live. Yeah,
and I think part of that, we're getting an influx of people over the last decade from other states. Obviously, California, so close to us, with their struggles, if you will, with taxes and property taxes. People are finding refuge in the desert. And I think it's just been a nice mix, and it's worked out really well from the real estate side. Business is booming here. Yeah. I mean, a lot of other real estate markets are having their struggles. And when people ask me, how's business? I'm reading all the bad news, but I just don't see it.
Yeah.
In being a successful realtor, you got to filter out the noise, they say, right? And we try to focus on that and not listen to the negative stuff going around us. That's because, right. I mean, let's look, our numbers have not dropped, and we're at 7%.
Yeah.
People were buying houses at 2.5% and refinancing at these crazy low rates. That will never happen again. But, right. For a short period of time, people were saying, well, there's no way I'm going to buy a house at 5, 6, 7%. But, historically, that's still a good rate.
It's a great rate.
And I think now that time has passed and people are starting to realize, oh, okay, well, if I got to get 6.5%, that's not bad.
That's right. Well, and historically, it's not just a good rate. It's actually a great rate, right? I mean, if you look at the history of mortgage interest rates, 7% is right there on the lower end of the margin. We just had that fantasy land rate for so long. Folks were misled to what to expect,
Yeah.
But I think you explored, another great reason why to move forward. You've got year over year appreciation. So, the rates may not be what you want them to be, but at the end of the day, you're gaining equity every single year, every single month, right, that you step foot in a new home. So I think
and you can always refinance, right?
That's right.
You can always refinance. Let's talk about this, though, because what I heard you say is I was a professional gambler. Now I'm a realtor, but you're not just a realtor. You're an extremely accomplished realtor, right? How does that happen, right? How do you transition from, the poker table and the poker room, right, to selling properties and doing such an amazing job at it, brother?
This is not a glamorous story. I hope you're not thinking it's going to be some crazy story, but honestly, it was just hard work and dedication. So when we moved here in 2018, I basically know nobody in the city. The few people that I stayed in touch with from when we were living here previously, poker players and people in the casino industry.
Yeah.
But nobody really in real estate, and nobody that I could count on. Oh, hey, I know we're friends. I'm starting my new career here. And, I want
commissioned.
That's right.
You're not getting paid. There's no paycheck. I'm sure there was months of zero money. This is the stuff people want to hear. So keep talking.
This is the good stuff.
Yeah.
We came here for.
So getting into real estate late stages of my life, as a new career at 40, let's say, I grew up in Miami. I know tons of people, but, when you get on the phone and say, hey, I'm starting a new career in real estate, they're like, I have 7 cousins, brothers, sisters, uncles, my parents. I'm a realtor. It's a struggle.
Yeah.
So it just wasn't great.
Yeah.
So what my wife and I decided was, let's just get into a couple of flips. We had a little bit of experience with that with some other people that we knew previously. We said, we could do it. So we did a little research and we got into it and we did a few flips and we wound up making a very good chunks of money at the time. And I said, look, here's the plan. We're going to go back to real estate full time in Vegas. We're moving there. Let's just wrap up these last investments, take the money, get back out to Vegas. We'll reestablish and we'll just start from nothing.
There it is.
And my wife is a team player, like
clearly.
You would not believe. Yeah. So we had just had our second child, and now I said, let's move across the country with no guarantee that we're going to be successful other than just we're gonna make it happen.
Yeah.
And so we moved out here, and that was its own probably 2-hour podcast. But we got out here. I got into this brokerage that I'm still at today and got the support from them to just figure out what I need to do with whatever tools. And for the first 6 months that I worked here, I basically came to the office. I made as many prospecting calls as I could possibly make to just listed, just sold, people I knew, random leads, just nothing great. And then I would leave the office, I would grab some lunch, and I would go to the poker room.
Oh,
and
my man.
I did that for the first 6 months. And every time I went to the poker room, and I'm sure people were laughing at me, but I would literally give out my card to everybody at the table.
Yes, sir.
And anytime I saw anybody that remotely looked familiar, I almost tackled them to say, hey, I'm back in town. I'm a real estate agent. Here's my card. Like, let's make it happen. And I did see some fruits of that labor early on, which is great.
Right.
And then, I don't know. I mean, it was just timing of the market. The market here in Vegas hadn't completely blown up yet.
Right.
But and rates were in the 5s and 4s, and, things were just going okay.
Yeah.
And I aligned myself in a couple of zip codes on Zillow that were super cheap. If I told you, I was number one in a zip code for $750 a month.
Yeah.
Right now in Vegas, if you could even get into a zip code at Zillow, $750 a month would probably get you negative. They would probably ask for leads from you.
Yeah.
That's how competitive the market is now. And it was not the best neighborhood, but these were family people, worked for the casinos, and just they were trying to live the American dream of home ownership.
Yeah.
And I resonated with that, and I wound up doing about 30 deals my first full year in 2019. And then from there it was just up and up. So just lots of work. I mean, there's no magic pill in real estate. Mm-mm. You have to work hard. I'm sure there's people out there that have, fallen into something somewhere along the lines, but real estate, I mean, listen, we have 17,000 agents here and only about 5% of them are doing all the work.
That's right.
And that is because people get their real estate because they think it's going to be some glorious, magical ride. And then they realize, holy shit, it's actual hard work.
That's right.
And then that's it. They just give up. So,
but that's why we wanted you to talk about it, because we know these stories. We do these stories. We do these podcasts all the time. And what we found is the truly great agents, it's almost always, I got a shovel and I started digging, right? That's what it took. We had a podcast with a similar story about the business cards not that long ago. And this is interesting because this one was in Kansas, right? And the guy was a farmer, and it wasn't even his farm. He was farming somebody else's farm. And nobody in real estate. And what he said was, I bought a box of cards and I told myself I was going to give all of them out by the end of the month without fail, and there was no way I wasn't going to do it. And he was actually said, I'm a very shy guy by nature, but I wasn't going to lose. And he said, I literally went through that box of cards. I was tackling people, like you said, at Walmart in his local city, saying, hey, this is who I am. You need to know me. And as a result of that, as you mentioned, it wasn't huge. It wasn't wildly successful, but that's where the start came from.
Right.
And, I love what you talked too about the Zillow thing, because, you got an insane deal on that because of the time and the location, but you were helping the community, the hardworking folks that really make that city what it is. And let me tell you something. Last time I looked, those are the guys and gals that really get things done in Vegas, right? Or the hardworking behind the scenes people that know everybody. And, when they know you as Mike, the guy that's going to get us plugged in and help us find a home, I'm sure that didn't help you build that success that you have today. So, man, I love your story. I love it.
Well,
it was, I had a lot of pushback from, the powers that be to say, don't go in that neighborhood. It's hard to be successful there, and they don't have any money and all that stuff. And I mean, I always tell anybody who comes to work for my team or anybody who talks to me about real estate, like, I do not discriminate. I don't care if you are buying a $100,000 manufactured home or you're buying a $5 million house. I am going to help you because at the end of the day, that's the only way that I can be successful. And if I can help anybody in any situation realize their dream of home ownership, whether it's the first time, the second or third time, then that's the goal.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what it looks like. And I'm not a big social media person. I mean, I have social media, but I'm not a big social media advocate. I feel like if you got to do the work, that's what's going to pay off.
Yeah.
We have plenty of people that are in the luxury market here and they sell, 5 to 10 houses a year. But I would much rather service 40 to 50 clients in that same year
No question.
than have 5 to 10 to have as a referral source year over year. And so now we're going into my 6th full year. We're in the middle of my 6th full year of real estate here. And I'd say my referrals are probably half my business now.
Yeah.
Which I never thought I would get to that point. I mean, even it took a few years, for any of the people I help buy or sell a home to give me a referral or for them to want to, sell their home. So it was just keep pushing. And I've been really lucky. I mean, call it whatever you want.
Not luck.
But
it's not luck.
Keeping in touch with your clients and making sure that they know what's going on in your life, even if it's personal stuff, that's okay too, because people shouldn't be afraid to share and you shouldn't be afraid to connect with people, because that is truly the number one reason why anyone is going to have any sort of success.
Yeah.
So,
well, hey, Michael, let's talk about that. You just said 6 years, man. You're not a veteran in the business. You can't call yourself a veteran at 6 years. In fact,
yes, he can. Yes, he can. His transactions speak for themselves.
Well, his transactions speak for themselves. He has veteran numbers that people with 20 years in the business don't have. But, it's 6 years in, you became a team lead. Now you're leading a team. Are you still out there selling properties or
every day?
Let me cover one more thing here too, though, because you talk about veteran versus not veteran. I know where you're going with this. But the reality of the situation is a veteran doesn't necessarily mean you've been in the industry for longer than everybody else. A veteran's somebody who's tried and true, who's been in the trenches and got the deals done. And brother, you've got the deals done.
Yeah.
So there's no question at all as to whether you're a veteran. Even if it's a 6-year stint, you've outperformed most in this industry within that 6 years. That's special. And that's why we wanted to have you on the podcast, because
I appreciate it.
What you're dropping here is all this is knowledge, right? This is the stuff that the folks that are struggling need to hear, because it wasn't sexy. It wasn't glamorous, right?
Yeah.
It was hard work, dedication, and motivation. And here you are today with a team.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about that now.
Yeah. Again, you know what? I look at your stuff. I look at your advertisers. They look at Michael Moed, this good-looking guy, sharp suit.
He's pretty good looking.
Come on now.
Everything's easy for him.
Yeah.
Everybody seems to think, hey, real estate, I just go in, I work 9 to 5 and cash in $1 million checks. And you just came out in the world and go, hey, man, I grinded.
Yeah.
I grinded probably 7 days a week, I would imagine.
Well, he said something else too about social media, and I want to talk about that too, because we do social media. You know that. That's one of the reasons why we're here on the podcast.
Yeah.
But social media is not where you get your business from. Social media, if you're using it the right way, it's just another wheel to help people know who you are.
Yep.
Right? We don't look for leads to come from our social media account, but the people that we do talk to, when they look at our social media and they get to know us and get to know who we are, now they know who's representing them. And it's a great way for people to get to know, like, and trust you. So we don't think social media is the source either. In fact, we had a gentleman that's a part of our coaching program who spent thousands of dollars in 2020. John's shaking his head, our videographer. He does his marketing for him now, who had spent thousands of dollars in 2023 to become TikTok famous. And man, did he do it. And let me tell you something, brother. By the end of the year, he'd closed 3 transactions, spent all of his marketing budget, and had nothing to show for it. So, social media is a great wheel to help people know who you are. But what you're doing, that's what it really takes to be successful, and not just in this industry, in any industry, right? And that's what you're talking about. So, But let's explore your team. You had somebody pop in a few minutes ago, and I know that you've got some partners that work with you that help make you successful. Talk about that a little bit. What's your team structure look like?
So I started my team in 2022. So this is
2 years in,
going into our 3rd year. Just with one agent. I don't think I ever had the idea to be a huge team. We have 2 teams in our current brokerage right now that probably have 20 agents underneath them.
Right.
I'm not sure that is my idea of fun, but it's just a lot of, I like to sell.
Yeah.
My very first job in my life was a sales job, and I love it. And if I can teach people my way of doing things,
that's right,
and see them have some success, that is more important than anything else. So the first person that I hired on was this young lady named Kristen Jarami, and you could probably look her up too. And she's a crusher, and she actually has a background in marketing. She worked for the casinos for 10 years, and then she got to work for Pulte, one of the builders out here, for 4 years. And after that, she just decided, I think I want to be independent. And she tried it and quickly realized that this is really hard.
Tough racket.
And,
yeah.
And she basically needed someone that could hold her accountable, show her, hey, this is how you can cultivate your people into leads, turn your database into sales, and how to manage that on a daily basis, and what it takes to really be like a top agent.
Yeah.
And I think that first year she did, how many deals did you do?
8.
As an independent, not on my team, and she did 8 deals. And then the first year with me, she did like 26.
Boom.
That's more than double.
Hard work, accountability, dedication, systematic formulas, right? I'm sure, and you're a poker guy. I'm sure there's some systematic formulas out there that you used in that strategy. Now you're bringing it into the business, and you've got the quality over quantity process that you're teaching your team. And she's out there killing it and having great success. And brother, you're a big part of that, man. So again, you need to celebrate, helping make people. We call it making them the best versions of themselves, right? She was already awesome. You just helped her see that potential in herself and achieve that dream. And let's get her a plug, John. Let's make sure we get her contact and all of her information in here as well. Drop that across the screen. So do you want to give her a shout out again, brother?
Yep. It's Kristen Jarami, and her phone number is 702. I don't know it by heart. In my phone, 569-9787. She's Kristen, Kristen, at huntingtonandellis.com. She's on the Moed team. And she's done really well. And, it's hard work. It's a daily, I have an office here with her and and then we have another desk here with another agent, Nathan. My wife, Angela, is our transaction coordinator for the team. Great. She's out there doing some deals now. And it's a team effort, and I think the number one thing that is helpful is that I'm in the office every day. I'm doing the work, so they get to see it. I'm not sitting on the ivory tower and saying, do this, do that. I promise you riches and gold. Just follow my lead. It's not blind.
That's right.
And I think that is a struggle for a lot of real estate agents, is that, number one, they see people that are successful and they just think, oh, well, number one, I need to go work for that person.
Right.
Or I need to go work at that person's brokerage. And they think that's the magic pill. And then they get there and they realize, crap, what do I do now?
Right.
And I would suggest anybody who's getting into real estate right now, to be perfectly honest, go work for a builder.
Yeah. They got all the business right now.
Builder, and they may not teach you much in the way of selling.
Yeah.
And they may not teach you in the way of like writing a contract.
Right.
But they're going to fill your phone with names and numbers. And it's free. And you don't have to pay for it.
Yeah.
And you can use that information to your advantage down the road. But go do it, because they're going to pay you a salary, or they're just going to funnel people in front of you, and you're going to make money from that. It may not be millions of dollars. You may not get rich from it, but it'll be a career.
Yeah.
And you don't have to do it forever.
That's right.
And if you can work your way up in that capacity and work for better and better builders that have a higher price tag, then once you're ready to go on your own, you're going to have connections already. And you're not going to be forced to pay for leads right off the bat, or the struggles that maybe even I went through. I've seen the light. If I knew better,
Right.
20, 30 years ago, I probably would have gone that route. I never realized that was the magic pill until I met Kristen.
Wait.
And it doesn't mean it's going to be a success story,
Right.
but
Well,
it's going to give you a better chance.
it doesn't mean it's a success story unless you're going to take what you learn from that and turn it into what you're doing over here with your team, right?
Correct.
And that's putting a system behind it, developing a formula, and executing it every single day, because that's what it takes. You got to execute every single day. And when we say every single day, we know Vegas is the city that never sleeps, but we also know real estate is the industry that never sleeps, right? You guys work around the clock, brother. We know it. You're probably.
I work when I'm on. I try to take as many vacations as I possibly can. I have 2 young boys. We like to go away. We like to go to the mountains. We'll go skiing. We'll go to the lake in the summer, whatever. I'm always on my phone, even when I'm on vacation. I never not answer my phone. And it's shocking to me how many people in this industry will not do the one thing that they have to do to make money, and that's answer their phone. So, even if I'm on vacation, I'll always answer. If I have to refer them over to talk to somebody else on my team, I at least like to have that initial conversation, that one touch, because I know that my setup is my setup and I know it works. And I'm a little bit of a OCD control freak in that way, but my team loves it, because if I can give them a warm lead instead of a cold lead, makes their job just that much easier.
No question about it. No question about it. Well, brother, you've dropped all kinds of secrets today. And again, I love this, because what we're talking about isn't, hey, we just jumped in and started making millions. We jumped in, we did what it took. We built what we have today. We created a system, a formula, and there's no question as to whether you're having the success, because you do it every day. You eat, sleep, and breathe it. And now you're starting to take great people out there and make them the best versions of themselves. And there's something pretty selfless and awesome about that. And it didn't surprise me when you threw in that your wife was part of the team, because I have a big feeling that, she's one of the people that helped motivate you to get in and do what you do. And do we want to give the wife a shout out here today? If she was listening to the podcast, anything you'd want to say to her?
Thank you.
Awesome.
That's good enough.
I think it is. No, it's something special and simple. The simplicity of that. Well,
behind every great good man is a great woman type of thing. She definitely makes our engine run, both in the house and with work. I couldn't have done any of this without her support. And she's a no nonsense, roll up your sleeves type of woman, and I'm lucky to have her.
My man. Sounds like a great poker player too, huh?
She's not bad.
Yeah. I'm not stepping into a room with either one of you, because I know I'm not leaving with my wallet. Well, brother, we'd love to keep you here all day, but we know that you got a lot of stuff to do out there. Anything you'd like to say today that we didn't cover?
I think we covered a lot, but just anybody out there who is even remotely thinking about purchasing real estate, hey, you want any tips or anything like that, call me. Even if I'm not in your market, I probably have someone in my network that could help you. Call or email me anytime. It's Michael Moed, 702-856-6771. My email is michael@huntingtonandellis.com. And if you're a realtor out there and I don't know, you want to shoot the shit, you're struggling, you have questions, whatever, I'm happy to help. I mean, we're busy, but we're never too busy to lend a helping hand in any situation. So
You're a gentleman and a true class act, and we're super excited that we got to spend some time with you, brother. So
appreciate you both. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being
Absolutely.
here. Hey, and if you're watching the video, you just saw that contact information roll across the bottom of the screen. Hey, write that down. Give this guy a call. You're going to be happy that you did. And if you want to see him, hop over here on our YouTube side, and I'll throw out those credentials here in a little bit. You can meet him live and in person, or we'll drop drop all that stuff in the description on the podcast too. So if you're listening to this thing, make sure that you jot that down and give these guys a call because they're pretty awesome folks. So, Dave, anything you want to say to our guests before we wrap it up today?
Yeah, man. If you're looking for real estate in Las Vegas, or if you're a realtor looking for a home, sounds like the Michael Moed team is the place to call. Mike's a great guy, man. He's sincere. Yep. He's here to help, and looks like he can sell you real estate and grow your business also. So call Mike.
Yeah, and I don't think there's a challenge too big or too small, right? Yeah. Sounds like you're going to help out all families, anybody that needs help out there.
That's the goal. I appreciate you guys having me on. It was a pleasure, and look forward to talking to you guys soon.
We as well. So we're your real estate success partners. If you want to check us out, you can come over to realestatesuccesspartner.com. That's realestatesuccesspartner.com. Or you can check us out on YouTube. You're going to find us over there at the Dubuc team. And we think you're going to want to do that because you're going to get to meet Michael live and in person. And as I mentioned before, he's a heck of a handsome guy. So I suggest you get over there and give this guy a call. But if you like the show, please comment, subscribe. We'd love the followers. And I'm Devin Dubuc.
I'm David Nguyen.
Until the next time.
See you guys.